Welcome to Afterthoughts, everybody. This is our recommend or refute episode where we each tell you a movie that we watched this week and whether we would recommend or refute it. I am your host, Michael Dixon. With me, as always, John Garcia.
Hey, I am excited to bring some holiday joy with my recommend or refute pick. I just don't know who it applies to, really.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody out there watches this and liked it.
And Ryan King.
Yeah, I've also got some holiday, maybe not so joy.
Yeah, that's really what I should have said. Is it anti-joy?
Right. Are we doing crappy Christmas movies? Is that what this is about?
It's crappy Christmas.
Have we not done that every Christmas?
Maybe I should change my movie then.
Is
I
this
just
our
avoided
holiday
the holidays
special?
entirely.
No. You did the smart thing.
Okay. All right, John, why don't you kick us off and tell us what exciting Christmas movie you watched this week?
Jesus. Okay. Well, I took a play out of Dixon's book and I was like, why don't I watch a classic for Christmas? I'll see something that I haven't seen before. And I've already seen, It's a Wonderful Life. We've talked about that on the podcast. I've seen White Christmas, which is another one that we've talked about begrudgingly on the podcast. And I was just like, you know what? I was looking through like a top list of Christmas movies. There's no warnings on these lists anymore. They don't tell you about different times or eras or whatever the fuck was going on in Hollywood.
They should have a warning like you may be preached to about the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there may be something like this in this. Is this commercial Christmas or Christ Christmas? Or is this consumerist for Christmas? Consumers for Christ.
Consumers for Christ, yeah.
So I found on that list, I was like, oh, hey, look, it's Bing Crosby. Oh, hey, it's Fred Astaire. And I thought, well, Bing Crosby, White Christmas, and then it was like Burl Ives, and it was like, oh, it's this, or is that his fucking name? Burl Ives? I don't fucking remember.
I believe so.
Who did White Christmas, and it was like, this is Holiday Inn, and it's this kooky screwball rom-com sing-along. And I was like, okay, sure. And it was like, it inspired White Christmas. It was like one of the reasons White Christmas happened. I was like, I'm interested. I'll check this out. Sure, why not? I found it, put it on. I left the room to go get water. I'll just say right now, when I left the room to go get water, there was a disclaimer apparently that flew up that said some of the things in this movie might not be as palatable to today's modern sensibilities, that kind of thing. Sort of racially insensitive things in it. I was like, okay, I came back ready to watch this movie and enjoy it. And for the first 15 minutes to 20 minutes, it was like, oh, Bing Crosby and fucking Fred Astaire, they're a duo similar to Bing Crosby and his Danny Kaye in White Christmas. Mm-hmm. Same kind of thing. They're a duo. They've been performing for a while. One of them sings, one of them dances. They have a third member who's this lady that Bing Crosby's going to get married to. But oh no, Fred Astaire, he's a rascal. He snatched her away from Bing Crosby. And so now Fred Astaire is going to go start his own troupe with her and leave Bing Crosby high and dry. Bing Crosby starts this thing. Did I even say that I'm watching Holiday Inn? Did I say that was the movie? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, well, the movie I watched was 1942's Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn. Never has there been such a show as this. From Easter to Christmas, from the 4th of July to Thanksgiving, there's a song for every holiday and a holiday for every song.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
You'll be the grandest lady in the Easter parade.
USA's united thanks to one whose name was Nancy Hanks. Abraham.
Not Holiday Inn Express.
Not Holiday Inn Express. No. You're not smart if you stay at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
So Bing Crosby, he starts this new thing called the Holiday Inn, where he's only going to perform every time there's a holiday. And that's where it's like, okay, so now this movie is effectively, 1/12 Christmas, and the rest of it is whatever the fuck happens. I didn't realize, I forgot President's Day used to be Lincoln's birthday. And, you know, I've already established the rest of this movie is White Christmas, basically. There's one less woman in it. And Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire fight over this one lady for the rest of the movie, and that's their whole bit. The real thing that shocked me was in between all the singing and dancing, and it's the usual Bing Crosby, boo, 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 and then Fred Astaire's tapping constantly on, he's dancing everywhere, all over the fucking place. He's dancing while he's drunk. He's dancing on people's graves.
Motherfucker won't stop dancing.
Just
walk somewhere, damn
He's
it.
some kind of dance machine. Even when he's drunk, he has to dance. They like get into this thing where Fred Astaire's trying to find who Bing Crosby's new lady in his life is, because she's like a fucking amazing talent, and he wants to find out who it is because he's been left at this point high and dry by the other lady that was Bing Crosby's lady. There's like a lot of cheating going on in this fucking movie.
Right.
It's wild. And so he's like, well, I only know what she looks like because she danced with me and I was really hammered. And like Fred Astaire's talent agent is like, I only know what she looks like from behind because I saw her dancing with you, but from behind only. And so they're both trying to use those data points to
what a
find
behind.
her. Yeah. and Bing Crosby knows this all along and is like trying to put in different ways that they could never find her. So Lincoln's birthday rolls around, right? And he's like, hey, Betsy. I don't know what her fucking name was. He's just like, hey, Betsy, I know you were excited to dance and sing and be on the stage as the person that you are, but what if we did it in blackface? Wouldn't that be great? And she just like looks him directly in the face and goes, yes, that would be amazing. And then he starts putting blackface on her while they're having a conversation about their relationship.
Oh my God.
And they're talking about how like they love each other and they're both like so glad that they found each other.
We did a minstrel show on Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Hold on, Ryan. I'm getting there.
Sorry.
So they have this
I'm
heartfelt
just looking forward to
thing
watching
about
his
it.
birthday.
The whole thing. Yeah, they do that after when they're all in whiteface. But like immediately after that, it just cuts to them going, and Bing Crosby is dressed as a Tom. And his love interest, Linda, that's her name, she comes out dressed as a pickaninny. And they start singing, and the entire staff is in blackface, and they even have black actors singing in the song with the other actors about how amazing Lincoln was, but they're singing it like a soul song, and it's about Father Abraham, and it completely killed the rest of the movie for me. Like, and I mean, how could it not? But Sasha and I were watching, and we were really like, Sasha was kind of like, this movie, not as good as White Christmas, like in terms of the dancing and music. And there's no color. It's black and white. So it doesn't pop as much. And a lot of the schmaltz and sentiment isn't as well established in this one. So up until that point, she was kind of like on the fence about whether or not she liked it. And the moment she saw that, because she, like me, went to get water right before that scene hit. And I was just there watching the blackface scene play out. She came back in and immediately did like the Grandpa Simpson, like walk about and then leave. And I just had to watch the rest of the movie on my own because I was like, well, I guess I committed. I want to see where it goes. And it like after that sequence is over, Bing Crosby's like, that became his solution to try to hide his love interest, but thankfully nobody else goes along with it. And he's like, wasn't the blackface great? Can't we just keep doing blackface? Why don't we just put her in blackface all the time? And everybody's like, no, that doesn't fucking make any sense outside of Lincoln's birthday. And I was like, that doesn't make sense on Lincoln's birthday. What the fuck are you talking about? But it all ramps up. They just basically run through all the holidays after that. And it's this like Gatling gun of musical numbers where they're just barraging the audience with no plot. And like Fred Astaire's tap dancing on George Washington's fucking coffin and Bing Crosby's singing a fucking Thanksgiving number. And it's just like all of it just sucks. And it doesn't focus well enough on the holidays that I feel like would make for a good, interesting movie. And it doesn't focus on the romance. It just like, it kind of feels like a Preston Sturges screwball comedy fell into somebody else's hand. And they were like, let me write this up for you. I'll make it make sense. And it never landed for me. I was thrilled by a lot of the musical numbers. I thought that they were really well done, and watching Fred Astaire work is great. But like the blackface in it's pretty fucking unforgivable. And it had like a behind the scenes accompaniment featurette where people tried to explain and put it in a cultural context. And they talked about how like, oh, for like Bing Crosby and for Fred Astaire, blackface was just a nostalgic thing that they didn't think was offensive. And that's why they did it. And I was like, okay, well that's, you can explain that. It's not going to make me feel better about the movie. And I don't think that the scholars were trying to do that, but it was just one of those things where I was like, I don't know who's going to watch this and genuinely not be off put for the rest of the movie by it. And whoever it is, they're probably much older than I am. So Holiday Inn, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're shocked about White Christmas and it's like minstrel send up, Holiday Inn's going to fucking wreck your shit when it's Lincoln's birthday rolls around. Because Jesus Christ, that is the reason for the season is Jesus Christ, not Lincoln.
Wait, where is the Christmas aspect of this?
They do a
one
Christmas
of the holidays
number
that they get to.
They do a Christmas number at the beginning. They do a Christmas number at the end, and in between, Bing Crosby goes, "I've been working on a number myself. I call it White Christmas. Let me sing you how it goes." And he like sings White Christmas in full, and then at the end, he comes back to reclaim after his woman leaves him to go be in Hollywood. He shows up on a set where she's about to sing White Christmas because they decided to make a movie about the Holiday Inn in the movie for Holiday Inn. So they're like, Mr. Crosby, the Holiday Inn's a hit. We want to make a movie about it in Hollywood. Give us that Lincoln's birthday number and let's take that to Hollywood. And like, he's just like, okay, well, you can have it. Sure. And so he, at this point, notoriously hates Hollywood for whatever reason, but still shows up and sweeps her off her feet and sings her White Christmas while it's supposed to be her that's performing White Christmas for the cameras. And then it ends on a big smooch and they roll credits. That was basically, so it's Christmas at the beginning, a little Christmas in the middle, and then Christmas at the end. And that's all you got. I don't think it deserved to be on that Christmas top 100 list or whatever the fuck I read.
To be fair, there aren't a lot of good Christmas movies. And,
True.
If you got to list 100, you're going to list some stinkers in there.
It's true. I'm also just like, they didn't mention any of that blackface stuff on that list. They were like, it's a great movie. That's all about Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire doing what they do best.
Blackface.
Blackface. Exactly.
I haven't watched any of the
God.
Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Road to whatever movies in a long time. But now I'm sitting there being like, yeah, they went to like Africa or Asia. I'm pretty certain they're all racist too.
Yeah. I'm not eager to go see those. Anyways, that's Holiday Inn, everybody. I would say I don't recommend Holiday Inn. Unless you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for something from Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, which I don't know. There's plenty of other things out there you can get and just enjoy. But
would you say that White Christmas is a progressive version of Holiday Inn?
Yes, in the sense that it's
one
more
step
detached
less racist.
from, yeah, it's
maybe not a progressive version, but a more progressive.
It is progressed
version
from
of Holiday
where
Inn.
Holiday Inn was. Yeah, which is why I think Holiday Inn is the proto White Christmas. Yeah, it's much more blatant about its racism.
That is weird to put that on like because at least like White Christmas was building towards like a Christmas performance, right? Like that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And this one is just, that's one holiday out of the include, like we're only open on holidays and then they include some questionable holidays.
Yes, absolutely. They're just like shoehorning anything in there. I would love to see a modern version of Holiday Inn where the holidays are the commercial holidays. And you could do a scathing satire that way. I'm sure that would be really fun. But minus blackface, obviously we can't do that in the modern day. We don't want to do that in the modern day unless it's like, Spike Lee could pull it off or something. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, that's my piece. I'm not going to stay away from the holiday classics. I'm going to keep exploring them, but now I'll be a lot more wary when I pick something out of the 40s. That's listed as having musical talents in it or shit, anything, I guess. I should just be wary at all times.
I think any sort of Bing Crosby venture, just be aware that things could go south quickly.
Except for that collaboration he did with David Bowie. I highly doubt David Bowie would let anything go south.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's my pick.
All right. Ryan, what did you watch this week?
Okay, well, so the last few years I've done something stupid and watched a bunch of movies for Christmas. in the back of my mind, going back to the first time I did this with the Rankin Bass movies, my idea was to sit down and watch like a Hallmark Christmas movie every day, sort of like John's Torture to Himself in October.
Mhm.
But I kind of just always chickened out at the aspect
It's
of
worse
watching.
if you do that.
Right. Over the years, I've picked up a few Hallmark Christmas movies here and there. This year, I didn't intend to or plan to sit down. I was still thinking about what I wanted to watch. But Darla and the kids kept watching Hallmark or Netflix shitty, like they're too easily accessible now, movies. Then I would just watch them while I was doing like cleaning up the kitchen or something else. Cause I'm like, well, let's get into it. I will say when I saw Hot Frosty listed, I was like, I gotta go for that one.
Hey, so nice to see you.
You get your heat fixed?
My life is a mess right now.
Good things come to you when you're out in the cold, Kathy.
Clearly, you've been doing your push-ups. You know what? You keep it.
You're stuck in there pretty bad. You want me to get behind you and push? Huh? It feels amazing.
Excuse me, can I help you? This is Jack.
I was a snowman.
That's not good. The coveralls and the boots, did you steal them?
Yes. Man went streaking in front of poor Ethel Jennings. Hi there.
I thought you could use some clothes, but you're gonna have to try them on. Oh, whoa, no, not right now.
Got it.
Maybe he's got something to hide.
We could just turn the temperature down. In my house, we like it hot.
What are you doing?
You really gonna interrupt my finest interrogation work like that?
I've never been on a date before. Please, I need your help with Kathy. It's been a minute for me, too.
What in the name of God?
Just gonna lean in a bit, okay? I want to make the most of the time that I have with you.
A man that sweet's just gotta be magic.
For a snowman. You're one heck of a romantic.
And I was like honestly trying to talk my family into it. And
Is that a new menu item at Wendy's? The hot,
yes,
the hot
yeah,
frosty?
the hot frosty.
That's like the Wendy's in the fucking Idiocracy future where they give hand jobs out.
I like hot frosty.
Yeah.
I think Darla thought I was joking because she had started watching. She was like 30 minutes into Hot Frosty, and I come downstairs from work, and I was like, "What? You started watching Hot Frosty?" And I made her go back and restart it so I could watch Hot Frosty all the way through. So I have an important question, and this is probably, I would say, Holiday Inn falls in this. Are Hallmark movies Christmas movies? Like, if we get into like what is a Christmas movie, I'm like, so many of them don't feel like it. And I'll kind of go through some of the ones I've watched this year real quick and touch on whether I think it qualifies or not. At the simplest definition, it just takes place during Christmas. Or I guess even
Canada.
worse. Yeah, a Holiday Inn, it takes place during Christmas for one tiny part of the movie.
Yeah. It just has to touch Christmas.
Right.
If there's a Christmas tree in your movie, it's a Christmas movie.
That's right.
I would even like one step further. I'm like, Frosty is like not Hot Frosty, but the
Just
classic
Frosty in
Frosty
general.
movie. It doesn't have anything to do with Christmas. I think he wants to go see
Santa Claus
at
is
some
in it,
point. Yeah,
right?
like I guess
Yeah.
it's sort of there, and I guess the kids have to believe in him, and technically he's an immaculate conception, and he does rise from the dead. So there's some like kind of Christmassy, Eastery things in there.
He melts for their sins.
He says happy birthday a lot, and maybe it's more of a birthday film than
Yeah,
a
it's a
Christmas
birthday.
film.
You watch it on your
They
birthday.
find some arcane top hat that has fucking Satan's power imbued in it.
Yeah. So most of the Hallmark movies just have like two people fall in love is their theme. Like it's really lazily. Sometimes they have a theme of like a small business, big business, maybe consumerism, which I guess then in that way I'm like Gremlins takes place in Christmas but kind of has a consumerism theme. But
Yeah, it's like a
also is
Dickensian
like,
thing.
yeah, these are like tangent. Like they don't really hit it in the way that, yeah, like, if you look at Christmas Carol, there's this like generosity and caring for others. It's not just the we beat the big business, Like they're right. And so I think like the themes, kindness and generosity to others, I think is a pretty clear Christmas theme. I think you have sort of the like faith or spirit of Christmas or true meaning of Christmas, whether that be Santa or Jesus, right? There's sort of this like belief system, which gets you like Miracle on 34th Street, right? As a Christmas movie. And then I guess there is a sort of like togetherness, family coming home theme, right? Mm-hmm. And so then that puts that like Die Hard just takes place in Christmas. He's supposed to be with his family. And I think I was looking at like, if you moved it to another part of the year, does it get weird because you lose Christmas? I think that's where it's like, that doesn't get to be much of a Christmas movie, right?
Is it an integral part of the plot?
Yeah. Classic It's a Wonderful Life, but if It's a Wonderful Life was like in July and he 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 still wished for it or whatever, the money wasn't there, like it doesn't really matter that at the end of the movie the bell is on the Christmas tree. Like that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Home Alone, you kind of have to come up with a different excuse for why his family's traveling, but I guess they could be traveling in the summer. And thematically, they do have the family, like the mom's trying to get back, and it's hard because, it's hard to travel around the holidays. And, he gets the neighbor together with his daughter. Like, there is sort of a family and, like, loving family piece. So it's, like, almost there. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, then there are ones where it's, like, that's absolutely like a Christmas Carol, right? It's, like, classically there. So, like, the Christmas movies that I watched, a lot of which have Lacey Chabert, how do you say her name?
I don't know.
From Mean Girls. Like she was a kid actor and then she's made 40 Christmas Hallmark movies.
Wow.
Like it's a machine how they pump these things out, and they're multiple year with the same actors, so like sometimes together, sometimes the other ones, that I think they just go to a town, like Hallmark descends on a town, and for like a month they just crack out 10 Christmas movies.
I heard they have some sort of like compound in Connecticut where they just like film everything, and they have like the entire wardrobe for the whole, all the Hallmark movie productions is there, and they just shoot everything like during the summer in Connecticut in this compound and just build all the sets there and all that. It honestly sounds like the old studio system. It's like you have these actors who only make Hallmark movies.
And these fake
are they allowed to leave the Connecticut compound? Can they rent them out to other studios? Like, how does that work?
Every once in a while, a down on their luck actor that's decent gets into these, or their later in life actor that can't get decent roles accidentally falls into some of these. I think it was the first one we watched was Christmas Island, which the only Christmas relation is that they either accidentally or on purpose get all the mail that's intended for Santa, and then they reply to every letter they get, which I don't buy. But that's only like a tiny part of an otherwise falling in love story. The best thing about this one is they spared all expenses because the fucking little bit of snow they have is digital. And then in the backgrounds, I noticed that, that like felt you put around your Christmas tree to make it look like there's some snow under your Christmas tree. They had that like just covering like apple boxes in the background as their snow. Didn't even get fake snow. They just got fucking white blankets.
Wow.
And put them in the background and bunched them up.
Did they like try to crank the bokeh up where they like fucking let's get like a soft focus for anybody?
Yeah, we'll just cover over everything. Yeah. Smear some Vaseline over the lens and we'll just cover over everything.
You think Hallmark would have like industrial fake snow machines to have on set at these movies, right? They make so many Christmas movies that you'd think that would just be one of the many props they would have on hand that they would just use over and over again.
Now, I qualify all these as Hallmark movies. I don't know which are legitimately Hallmark and which one are like
that's a good point. Hot Frosty is not.
Or whatever. Yeah, they all kind of blur together, honestly, too, so I don't know. We watched Meet You Next Christmas, which was just a pentatonic shill. Like, it was just an excuse to sing pentatonic songs, Christmas songs. Again, two people trying to get together. There's like a ticking clock about Christmas, but that makes no sense because the next day they could declare their love for each other. A Castle for Christmas, where Brooke Shields buys Carrie Elwes's Christmas castle in Scotland.
Brooke Shields is doing these now?
Yes, amazing. Yeah, that's the I'm down on my luck and I'm just going to make a Christmas movie so I get a little check every year kind of problem. That one at least was like shot on location, but again, Christmas ? Not related. It just sort of takes place.
Ryan, how many of these did you watch?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7,
We didn't get it.
8. And I did watch The Holdovers. That's not a Hallmark movie. Is it a Christmas
I watched that
movie?
with him.
Yeah. Is it a Christmas movie? Like
It happens. It hinges on Christmas. It hinges.
It
is
has to
around the
happen
Christmas
during
break.
a time when school is out.
Yeah. And there is like a family kind of like connectedness theme, right? Like I'm like, okay, I think that one's like right up against it. Merry Gentleman, which was honestly just Magic Mike
with Christmas.
That's it. It was Magic Mike with Christmas. Not the Magic Mike, like the actual movie where it's about a struggling small businessman. The Magic Mike you imagine in your head, which is just strippers making money.
Just
Yeah.
strippers?
I think Lindsay watched this and it was like on in the background while I was making breakfast. And it was like, yeah, about some girl who got fired from her dance troupe because she was too old or something. And then she goes back to her hometown in order to like help her family strip club business to like do better. So she starts choreographing the male stripper dances at
Noble
this. Yeah.
profession.
Wild. Just
Exactly.
trying to
That's
combine
exactly
all
the
the
plot.
Hallmark traits, but making it horny. Just
That's-
like,
with
this
Magic
is
Mike.
insane.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This movie is rated PG.
Yeah.
No joke. PG. I don't know how
Wow.
you can have a plot involving stripping and
Yeah,
be
there are way too
PG.
many nipples in that movie for it to be PG.
It just doesn't make sense. I guess they're just like, maybe they never say stripping. They just say dancing through the whole thing.
male
And it just is like
entertainment.
unclear. If you're a kid, you're just like, okay.
Wow, these are interesting entertainers. Some
Yeah.
kid out there is having an awakening.
Didn't watch it this year, but I bitched about Family Switch previously. Again,
Yes,
just
you
takes
did.
place during Christmas. Why do these body switching movies involve Christmas?
Well,
I don't-
there's only one, isn't there? Or
No,
are there
we
multiple?
watched another
Damn it, I
one where
shouldn't have
two.
asked him.
We watched another one. I didn't write down the title of it, but we watched another one last night where like two moms body switch because they want each other's life. Again, it's over Christmas and there's this ticking clock to get back into the
Prince
original.
and Pauper situation.
And I was like, we were. I think the family switch is more disturbing, but if my wife lied to me, but I guess it's not exactly her. Someone else's wife lied to me in my wife's body for a week in my own home. Like, and my wife also in some other dude's home. Like, I'd be no, that was just an all no. That was wrong.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah. Haul Out the Holly, which actually was about like fighting over decorating like,
It's like that,
in a
wasn't
neighborhood.
there
Like
like a-
that one's at least Christmas related.
Wasn't there like a Matthew Broderick, Danny DeVito version of that or some shit? I feel like
I feel like I've
it's like
seen
a
that.
neighbor's sort of situation. I
Yeah.
don't remember what the fuck it was
That's like
called.
it's Christmas. It's
a
relatable.
usual,
Yeah, like
competing, sure.
And a Christmas story kind of has all those like hallmarks of like a kid Christmas, right? Looking forward to the gifts and decorating, stuff like that, right? Or Christmas Vacation. Like those are Christmas movies. Dear Santa, I don't know if you guys saw anything about this one.
We haven't seen anything about any
Jack-
of these, right?
Jack Black-
Stayed away from these.
Jack Black pays
Oh, I saw
a
that, yeah.
demon. Yeah, that the kid accidentally misspells Santa as Satan, and his letter goes to Satan, who then is trying to trick him into giving up his soul. It ends up having fucking nothing to do with Christmas. It's
Doesn't have
just
anything to do with Satan.
yeah, it's just a classic. The
Is
devil
it a
trying to
Faust
trick you.
story? Does the kid sell his soul for like a bunch of candy or something?
For a donut.
Yeah, he does, but it gets off and he sells it so his mom and dad will get back together. But he keeps his soul on a technicality, and then just because he's
Wait, is there a courtroom scene at the
They
end?
do a courtroom drama where they put Satan on the stand.
No, Satan is played by Ben Stiller, who chews out Jack Black's like he's like a demigorgon, devil, whatever,
Yeah.
like lower status. He chews him out and explains how it was a selfless wish, so it's a technicality that he gets off of, and then he kicks Jack Black out of hell to wander
but
the
that's
earth like
good.
Cain or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, it's better.
What?
And then just because he feels nice about it, Jack Black brings the kid's brother back from the dead.
What?
That's the end of the movie. I'm sorry I spoiled it for everyone, but I was like, that is fucked up.
No, that's the beginning of like a horror movie.
Yes, you're gonna have to live the
same.
rest of your life thinking about the fact, yes, that your brother was pet cemeteried.
Oh my god, that's wild.
Yeah,
wouldn't Death feel cheated and try to take his brother back? Like
there's got to be another movie that they got to follow through on that one.
I found that what is it? Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito one. It's called Deck the Halls.
Yes.
That's the one. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's like
that
it's Christmas,
pretty hard.
Yeah, but it's Christmas. It's like technically a Christmas movie.
Sure, Christmas with the Cranks is Christmas. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. The last one I watched was Our Little Secret, where Lindsay Lohan.
That title alone, just red flag.
Yeah, she ends up going back to see family. I couldn't figure it out. There was some sort of like her sister-in-law's brother-in-law as her ex-boyfriend. I was confused. You know that, and I was sitting there the whole time. Did you guys ever watch Conan the Destroyer?
No.
It's the better Conan movie.
Yeah.
There's like a gag in that where the thief he's like telling him like they can sneak in because his sister's brother's cousin or his cousin's brother's sister knows this like secret thing into the castle, and he says it like a little bit different every time, and you're always like, what relation is that? Is that not just another cousin? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
And he's like adamant that he's like, no, it's my sister's brother's cousin or whatever.
Is that this whole movie just them constantly doing that?
No, that was just me I was having to get a diagram out to be like, wait, Darla, how are all these people related to each other? Why are they accidentally, secretly, years later bumping into each other?
See, but unironically, somebody yesterday said to me, oh yeah, my like girlfriend's brother's cousin's like such and such. And I was like, why would you tell me that, Tree? Just say somebody I know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to fucking know who that is.
Yeah. But I contend that Hallmark Christmas movies, for the most part, I would say 90% of what I watched had nothing to do. Like Christmas was just in the background, and they're just schmolk, whatever you say, like love romance. They might as be those like cheap ass romance novels, like dime romance novels or whatever. It's the exact same thing if those took place over Christmas.
You just spin a wheel and you say, here's the place, here's the fucking persons, and then profession. It's like an improv troupe, but they always insist on it being at Christmas.
It just has to take place.
All right, everybody. I need 2 names, an occupation, and a location, and it's Christmas.
Small town.
Remember.
Location set. Doesn't small town.
One person needs to be from a big city and not believe in Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're so stressed out about their job that they've forgotten about Christmas.
Somebody close to them died on Christmas.
They need to get laid like so badly that they'll remember Christmas.
They'll remember the faith of Christmas. Yes. But like
Christmas.
Is You Got Mail a Christmas movie if it took place over Christmas? Is Sleepless in Seattle a Christmas movie if it took place over Christmas? Is When Harry Met Sally a Christmas movie if it took place over Christmas? Like those are all 3
Ryan's
better
really
movies
going
than
like
any
full
of these.
Johnny Cochran on Christmas movies.
Chewbacca is a Wookiee. That does not make sense.
We'll have a formal hearing. We'll get a judge. I wonder if I can.
Is it Miracle on 34th Street style courtroom drama?
I'm gonna ask Mark because Mark knows somebody whose dad is a judge. I'm gonna ask him if we could get his friend's dad in on a podcast episode to overhear proceedings. Ryan versus Hallmark's Christmas movies definition.
Hallmark Incorporated.
Yeah. Oh God. So what are you recommending anything? Are you refuting any? I mean, you're refuting Hallmark movies, obviously.
Honestly, Hot Frosty was pretty wonderfully stupid.
Surprising.
Yes, the plot is pretty much in the title. Someone makes a snowman that's like a chiseled man snowman that comes to life because of a magic scarf, I guess. You know, how did that hat get magic in the first place?
There must be some magic in that scarf.
Yeah. He is, by the way, this follows that trend of movies that's a little disturbing where essentially a man-child is better than any other like man you could meet. I guess it's a bear in the woods versus man problem that it's like a
Are
man
you saying
who
this
hasn't
is a pedophile movie?
like he was like a day old, right? Mm-hmm. Like he just became, and he doesn't like throughout that whole couple of days he doesn't know anything. He's like unfamiliar with everything. He does Lilu Dallas download the internet. Do what?
You just qualified Hot Frosty as a lollycore film. They're like, no, it's okay because he's actually. Oh no, wait, he is a day old. Oh, shit.
Yeah, at least Will Ferrell and Elf is like actually aged in human years.
That's true. Yes.
Equally naive though.
Oh god.
Yeah, and then somehow he becomes a real boy at the end again through some magic.
Hot Frosty does?
Yeah. He gets arrested because he accidentally and unknowingly, because he's fucking 1 day old, broke in and took some clothes because he's naked because he was a snowman. Naked snowman. I don't know why they, other than the scarf.
Did he know that he was naked? Did the shame come upon him immediately, or did he have to be told that it was shameful?
There's an old woman.
He was kind of told
it
was shameful. Yeah, he's like walking around and he surprises two old people walking their dogs and realizes he has to wear clothes. I guess I don't know how he.
I've only watched half of Hot Frosty because Sasha and I were just like, fuck whatever, throw it on, and we both passed out. It was like, this movie's boring past a certain point. But I did laugh at the one gag, which is that old woman that saw Hot Frosty's dong. Later, the police are like, yeah, we interviewed her and she said something about he was doing a civic duty and to the community walking around that way. And I was like, that's like kind of funny. Sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
Old cougar ladies are hilarious.
Wait, when whoever built the snowman, did they craft his penis into the snow statue?
No, it's just a bust. It's like 6-pack up. And somehow it gets legs. But honestly, Frosty doesn't have legs,
bottom.
Right?
Yeah,
The Frosty is just like a regular ass.
True. Then he
gets
just gets legs when he becomes animated.
He needs to walk around and smoke a pipe, which nobody talks about.
So
why would he bring heat actively into his head? That would kill him.
Yeah,
Frosty,
he isn't walking. He isn't walking around like a live snowman, a la Jack Frost. He just looks like a dude. But he's like cold to the touch and he can't stay indoors for very long because he starts melting.
There's a movie we should have done. You ever seen Jack Frost, Dixon?
No, but I've heard wonderful, horrible things.
Oh, God.
Wait, when he starts melting inside, is like his skin falling off?
No, it just looks like it looks like he's sweating.
He's like,
and he doesn't
Edward
change
from
in
Twilight,
size
where he's
either.
like shimmering in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so
okay,
he gets arrested
Hot
for this. Oh yeah, totally. He gets arrested for this slight of stealing clothes, and when they put him in jail, when Craig Robinson puts him in jail, he melts to death in the jail cell.
Wow.
He dies? He turns into a puddle?
No, he just dies. I don't really understand the melting. Like,
just a sweaty corpse.
Yeah, he just dies.
That's
He's
honestly
a sweaty corpse.
wild. All of his like organs just melted inside of him. Holy shit!
and then they cry him back to life. I guess somehow something wish him back to life. I don't know. They all believe in him. Spirit
just like in the animated Frosty.
Yeah. Wow.
Does Hot Frosty fuck anybody?
I think the implication is at the end, now that he's a real boy and she touches him and he's warm to the touch, that now it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Now he can bone wherever he wants to, and that's when he ran off.
Also, I was a little bit. This is one of those like I was just wondering culturally. So the plot at the beginning is that her husband died of cancer, and he was really into Christmas, so she's not into Christmas anymore, and so Hot Frosty's getting her back into the Christmas spirit because that's these fucking movies, right? And then they fall in love along the course of it. The very beginning of the movie, before we even learn her husband died of cancer, one of her friends is like, "So when are you gonna get back out there dating?" And I'm like, what's the culturally accepted? Like, if you have a breakup, right? Your friends can be like, "Hey, dude, you need to get back out there. Like, get back in the game." If your spouse dies, is it okay to be like, "When are you gonna get back in the game?
When are you gonna replace your spouse that you're grieving?"
Yeah.
How much time had passed when somebody suggested this?
It seemed like maybe a year. But
I think it feels a little soon. Yeah.
Yeah. But is it like, or is it okay to just be like, it's that person's decision whether they do or don't? Like, right?
That sounds like one of those things where it's like, man, you're really unhappy. You should get laid. Like somebody like solving your problem with what they think would solve your problem. Where they're like, you should get married again. That was, hey, wait a minute. Isn't that how Audition happened? Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah. But he's knowingly like he's back on the prowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But everybody keeps telling him that he should get married again too, that it would fix things. Like,
that's true. But he was already horny for it.
So, sure. Okay. Because there's some stipulations, Your Honor. I don't know. These are all interesting questions you raise. I'm glad that we'll get this transcript to the Hallmark department for deeper answers.
Yeah.
Maybe Netflix. I doubt Netflix will answer it. Netflix doesn't do that.
Yeah, the only things that I can even of these be like, if you're just really, really bored, Hot Frosty is so fucking dumb, and Dear Santa, the one with Jack Black as Satan, is so fucking dumb that they're come around to like almost being entertaining or vaguely entertaining. Depends on it, like what your tolerance for dumb shit.
Critics rave. Vaguely entertaining.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. It is a recommend for the stupid, dumb, Hot Frosty and Dear Santa.
Yeah.
Or is it Dear Satan?
No, it's called Dear Santa.
It's Santa,
really,
yeah.
Poor naming. It should be called Dear Satan. But I guess they want you to know it's a Christmas movie, even though
I
fucking
think it was
isn't.
originally
I don't know.
titled Dear Satan, actually, and they changed it before it came out. So
It's
I
like a
think the studio
distribution thing.
wanted to
Yeah.
like push it as a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
And also that like, ooh, some people might be, we get the
Yeah, turned
Westboro
off by
Baptists
that.
out here mad at us.
Oh, my God. Well, now we've talked about blackface and Hallmark. Dixon, what do you have?
I'm hosting this episode, John.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to move on past both of these things that I'm uncomfortable talking
I
about.
want to hear about an actual movie, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to call an audible here. I was going to talk about, I watched both versions of Invasion of the Body Snatchers this week, and I quite enjoyed both of them. But I feel like I should keep the Christmas train rolling and talk about a decent Christmas movie that I watched this past week. I didn't even know it was a Christmas movie until I started watching it, called The Silent Partner from 1978, starring Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer, directed by Daryl Duke.
Silent partner.
Who are you and what do you want from me?
I am not a cop, if that's what you're afraid of.
A crime of sheer genius that builds to a climax of sheer terror.
He doesn't suspect.
Not at all. He will tell me soon.
When the telephone rings, the terror begins.
Hello. Hello? You're doing it to her like you did it to me. What?
Think of where to run. Think of how to hide. Think of how to escape. The Silent Partner.
The Silent Partner stars Elliot Gould as a bank teller who works in a bank inside of a mall. And so it's Christmas time. Christopher Plummer is a Salvation Army Santa who is hanging out in the mall asking for donations. Elliot Gould is kind of not happy with where he is in his life. He's kind of viewed as a nothing kind of pushover by his coworkers. There is a female coworker of his that he's very attracted to, and she is just not into him. And he asks her out on a date, and she's like, sorry, I have other plans tonight. What she finds out is that she's dating his boss, who is married, and she would rather date his married boss, knowing there's no future, than to date him. And so he's just kind of just not really in a good place in his life. He's not really sure where he wants things to go. He's kind of hopelessly in love with this woman that he works with. And there is a kind of a big customer at the bank who, closes up his store at the mall every day and brings over all of his deposits into the bank at once. And Elliot Gould is the teller who handles the big deposits and has access to the vault. So all the big stuff comes through him. Christopher Plummer, as the mall Santa, is kind of watching the traffic into the mall and sees that there is this guy bringing in these big sacks of cash every day, kind of toward the end of the day. Elliot Gould starts to notice that Christopher Plummer is paying attention. And there's one point where he follows this guy into the bank and kind of thinks he's going to rob the bank and take that money, but kind of chickens out. But he has a note that says, I have a gun, give me all the money, that he accidentally drops on the counter, and Elliot Gould picks it up and realizes that he's been tailing this guy and is going to try to rob the bank, and decides, you know what, my life sucks. I'm going to try to play into this. And the next time the guy comes into the bank, he sees Christopher Plummer as the Santa Claus kind of following him in. He takes the guy's deposit, puts a bunch of it in his like briefcase under the counter, and only deposits like $4,000 instead of $50,000. Christopher Plummer comes in and robs the place, gets away with $4,000, then sees on the news that $50,000 was stolen, and so immediately starts like stalking Elliot Gould to try to get the money back. So the silent partner is called that because basically Elliot Gould has kind of made himself a partner in this crime by doing that. He's actually stolen much more money than Christopher Plummer has, and they kind of become inextricably tied through this as Christopher Plummer is trying to get the rest of the money that Elliot Gould has stolen and hidden somewhere. But I thought it was a pretty clever kind of heist sort of movie where you have people working together that aren't really aware that they are working together. And, as Christopher Plummer kind of starts to get more involved with Elliot Gould's personal life and try to figure out what's going on, things kind of unravel. And Gould is like a very smart guy, but he's very unassuming. And so it's interesting to see his character kind of think through how to deal with this and how to create a situation where, he can potentially try to get away with this and to safely evade Christopher Plummer's attempts to take the money back. But it's a really interesting movie. I didn't really know what to expect from it, but I had a good time with it. Didn't realize it was a Christmas movie. So if you're looking for a kind of not Christmas movie to watch during December, I would recommend checking out The Silent Partner.
Nice. It sounds, what kind of like cinematography, is there anything that like really stands out score wise, aside from like the plot, which sounds really interesting and the way that it kind of comes down from a thriller standpoint, in this heist movie thing. Were there other parts that stood out to you that you were like, well, this is interesting, I haven't seen this or heard this?
Kind of, like good, competent cinematography and score, nothing that was like crazy innovative or anything like that. But, it's a studio film from 1978. So like there's a level of technical expertise there that is, good. It's shot on film. It looks very good. And, from that standpoint, but yeah, I mean, I think the kind of the interesting part is the story and how it develops. And it was a kind of a concept that I hadn't really seen before that I liked a lot. And Elliot Gould is very good in it. He's, kind of after he steals the money, he starts to kind of get more confident in himself. And he's like on the news and they're like, oh, it's the hot bank teller, Elliot Gould, and getting all this attention. And he kind of gets more confidence in his life. He becomes kind of more charismatic and, maybe getting it a little too far ahead of his skis a bit. But it's interesting to see his character kind of change into more of what you would expect Elliot Gould to play. But he still has this kind of nerdish hesitance about him. And he's kind of trying to develop out of that over the course of the movie.
Interesting.
Christopher Plummer is great as the villain. He's pretty menacing as Christopher Plummer can be.
Right. Do you have this on? Is this on physical or did you watch it on?
I have it on Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. I assume it's on Criterion Channel probably or something. But
I don't know where it is online, but I'm sure you can find it.
So you said that it's Christmas adjacent as well, just because Christopher Plummer plays a mall Santa. Is there anything else to it that was sort of the holidays, or is this, Brian, just get back into your qualification of what makes a Christmas movie? It's, again, it's been qualified as adjacent to Christmas.
Got a vague consumerism.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not a Christmas movie, aside from the fact that the mall Santa robs the store, and therefore nobody knows who it is, right? Okay, and he's in full Santa getup, and so you can see his eyes, and that's kind of it. The fake beard covers up most of his face, so Elliot Gould gets a really good look at his face when it comes into the bank, and so he actually knows who it is when he sees Christopher Plummer later, but the cops have no idea from the grainy CCTV footage. They're not able to really understand who he is. So that's kind of how Christmas plays into it, is just the idea that if you're actually dressed up as Santa, you could probably get away with some shit if you're nefarious about it.
There's going to be a sequel or a remake where they make it the Easter Bunny, because that's the only other seasonal
That'd
outfit
be pretty
I can
good.
think of.
Yeah.
It is that that doesn't necessarily work because you don't have a whole bunch of people potentially dressed up for any other thing like that, right? There's no other time where you would be like, oh, well, there's like now, there's probably 20 people in my city actively dressed as Santa, right? Like, and that it's kind of weird to think about that.
I mean, I guess if there was some sort of, comic convention or something, or like some sort of event where a bunch of people are dressed up, then you could maybe get away with something like that. But you would have to plan it around some sort of thing like that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
I was gonna say the only other person I can think of, like, it's like a priest or something. But the priest, they show their face, so they don't wear beards like Santa does, or giant rabbit hats or heads.
Maybe if you have a very forgettable face, you could do like a nun costume where it's like only like your face is showing.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. Oh, man. Dude, it would, honestly, a movie where priests pull a heist would be kind of rad. I feel like that's Dan Brown territory potentially, but
that'd be interesting. Like, they're losing their faith and they scheme this thing, but then they're not suspected because they're priests.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, it takes place in Mexico. It's called Padres and Pesos. There we go.
The Silent Partner is available to rent for $4 on Apple or Amazon or wherever you rent your things online, whichever tech monopoly you prefer to patronize.
Yeah, $4. That's $2 more than it is to rent Holiday Inn. A $2 that is well worth, I would say, pumping up.
I think the upcharge is worth it. Yeah,
it's interesting because this definitely sounds like an under the radar good movie of the 70s, which is what I was looking for was Sorcerer, because that's what I had heard of, like, looking at the lists of like, oh, you missed these amazing movies in the 70s. Never seen this on one of those lists, but the fact that it was like a big deal in Canada and won a ton of awards there and has great reviews when it came out in the States, but nobody really watched it.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's because it's hard to pin down. It's kind of what kind of movie it is, because it's a kind of a heist thriller, but also it has a very kind of light attitude about it as well. There's comedic bits, and it doesn't like fall hard into one specific genre. So maybe that's kind of why. Yeah. But I thought it was really well done. I always really like Elliot Gould. But he's great in it.
It kind of sounds like a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to market it that way. Except most Hitchcock movies were marketed as Hitchcock movies. That was really all that.
That's the other problem.
Yeah. He created his own genre. Cool. Yeah. So that's a recommend for Silent Partner, a refute for The Holiday Inn, and a couple of recommends from Ryan for Hot Frosty and Dear Santa.
Yeah,
if
and
you just want to watch some
romance Christmas movie.
Yeah, a general refute to most Hallmark-esque Christmas movies.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week in our crappy Christmas rendition of Recommend or Refute. I have been your host, Michael Dixon. With me, as always,
Ryan King. I guess technically the Air Bud movies are Christmas movies. I mentioned it last year. He gets Air Bud on Christmas.
Air Buddies.
And
John Garcia. Do you want to be on Satan's naughty list or the nice list? Like,
good
how does
question.
That work? Is it like a reverse
is bad good?
I don't know. Satan live in an upside down world?
It's like Abbott and Costello.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, you're bad. No, I want to be good. Yeah, but good is bad.
If you're good, he purchases your soul for some fun stuff, some riches.
There you go. Mull that one over, everybody. And we'll see you in the new year. Hey there, movie buffs, TV toughs, and all listeners in between. John here from the Afterthoughts podcast. I just wanted to drop in at the end of this episode and say thanks for listening. If you've got afterthoughts of your own to share, hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Afterpod, or jump into a conversation on our Discord server. You can find info for this and more at theafterpod.transistor.fm. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.